Welcome back, everyone. It's been a long time since we've done an episode specifically with this guest, my man Bo Hoag. Another episode. What do you know, Joe? How you doing, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on, Joe.
Obviously, can't say no. We were chopping up a little bit just a few moments ago. Obviously, dad life for sure. It's been some fun. I can't wait to chop more of that. But like, what have you been up to the past couple months? Like, I told Bo before we started, it's been a little over 2 years since we last did an episode, which is a crime. So, love to catch up. What's been going on, man?
Just been mostly down here in Jupiter, Florida. Little golf haven down here. Um, I haven't played as much as I normally have in years past this year. Which hasn't been too bad of a thing with a little 2-year-old running around, kind of
For
just
sure.
be a normal human being for more than a week at a time. But still working away and trying to get my game in best shape it can be, and
Yeah.
yeah, just nice little balance. So yeah, we're all good down here.
Gotta love the balance. I also feel awful because one, I should have when it happened because I knew you lived there. But two, how were you hit by the storms at all? Both of them, like Helene and Milton. Like, are you guys good? What happened?
Yeah, we're all right. Helene, we didn't really have too much of an issue with that, but Milton was weird. We had oddly enough, it wasn't the hurricane itself, but we were getting a bunch of tornadoes like
Damn, yeah, I saw that.
before Milton even hit the. We're on the east coast of Florida
Yeah,
before Milton even hit the west coast of Florida,
damn.
and like dozens and dozens of tornadoes were coming around this area, and not too far from where we live, actually, some neighborhoods got beat up pretty bad. So we were fortunate to not have any issue there.
Scary stuff, dude. That like even like you said, like I never grown up experienced that. So like when I moved here, it was some like I can't imagine the threat of that, and like also
Hmm.
like what that was like. I'm glad you guys, obviously hard to go out to who didn't, but like I hope like I'm glad you guys are okay. That was not fun watching, and I'm sure there's you probably know a ton of people down there who were super affected by it. So glad to hear you're doing well. But damn, yeah, no. So you said you focus on you got the balance. Jumping back into it, the balance is good, man. Balance. How is the family doing? I would love to. We Bo and I both have a daughter. And I'd love to get your take on how's family life doing. Let's talk a little about that side of the balance.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting to know the Disney Plus app pretty well on my TV. So we kind of started the day off with something on there. We've been hitting up Lilo and Stitch quite a bit lately. It's been
Nice.
a favorite. So I'm
Okay.
learning all the Disney stories through my daughter. But it's all good. We got a nice little neighborhood here. We've been just taking walks each day and checking out she likes the Halloween setups and decorations. So a little bit of that, and then I
Nice.
go to the golf course and do my work, and come back and do that again. So it's pretty good
Brings that up.
setup. Can't complain.
Yeah, man. No, I'm glad you harped on that. I don't know what it is about Halloween decorations, but it's a whole ordeal to stop, look at them, observe, say a bunch of stuff to them that I don't know what's being said, but then finding the next one, and I don't know what it is. I thought she'd be freaked out by it, but she loves
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
is Stella not freaked out by it? She's like, all right, bring it on.
It sounds similar. I think it's like she is a little spooked by it, but she also wants to keep watching it. So
Right.
it's like, I'm scared, but I also don't want to leave. So we're kind of in that situation right now.
Damn, that's awesome. Yeah, no, it that and does she know what she's doing for her costume yet? Have you guys had to map that all out?
We're still trying to figure that out. We actually went to I think one of those spirit Halloweens today, and
Nice.
those things are so funny. Just what you
Dude,
can
they're
see in
hysterical.
there.
You never know what kind of like I that's also a good gauge in like what's going on like as far as like what costumes out there every year. It throws me off like what's in there and what's gonna happen. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
I,
it's
I
good entertainment.
did you get to go last? Well, like because Stella was probably super young. Like we tried to get A to go last year, but she ended up crashing before we could even go. So this is like the first year trick or treating, right?
Yeah, well, we did go last year, but we
Nice.
were kind of done before all the bigger kids were going. I think, yeah, she was tapped out a little earlier, but she's ready to do it this year. We've been practicing the trick or treat in the house and all that good stuff. So
Good. That's good. And no, yeah, I think Bluey's on at least two. Like the first, I think because they're so short, I don't know how many like are you go through them quite quickly, but like
Yeah.
yeah, like a Bluey. Bluey has definitely become a staple in the household for sure. She doesn't
Yep.
know she doesn't know what's really going on just yet. I don't think
Hmm.
we're still grasping that story part. I can't
Yep.
wait till she can do movies and Lilo and Stitch and all that. I wish for those days. Uh,
Yeah.
but dude, glad she's doing well. How's the missus doing?
Good. We're all good. Yeah, she's my wife's been a nurse for her, since she graduated. So
Mm-hmm.
she's been doing a little bit of part-time work down here at
Nice.
the Nicholas Children's outpatient, the urgent care, which is in Palm Beach Gardens,
Nice.
down the road here, not too far. So
No.
been doing the mom thing and doing it really well. But she likes going into work every once in a while as well, and doing her thing there. So yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for asking.
No, of course, yeah. Moms are shout out to all the moms. Yeah, it's yeah. Obviously, it's a two-way team. I think parenting puts a new perspective on things for sure. And I again, yeah, I wouldn't. There's times where I'd be screwed if my wife wasn't here helping me there out on this. So shout out to
Hmm.
all the moms.
No
Um,
doubt.
yeah. So what's balancing like that? I know you mentioned at the afternoon you go to work. What's the golf life kind of looking like? What you got anything going on? Like what's going on with the next season, maybe, or like what you're trying to do, or what's new there, man?
Yeah. So kind of working through what we call Q school, which
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
how you get your status on the tours.
Right.
So the PGA Tour is it's ever changing right now. It's been an interesting product the last couple of years
For
with the
sure.
whole mix up with everything. Um, but they've made it a little. They're making it harder and harder to get back out there. It's always been difficult.
Yeah.
It's been a challenge to get your card. So I'm just kind of working through Q School right now, try to get my full status on the PGA Tour for next year.
Nice.
So I just played in Nebraska week before last at the first stage of Q School.
Nice.
There's like four stages basically: the pre-qualifying, first stage, second stage, and final stage. So yeah, I went to first stage in Nebraska and
Nice.
Lincoln, actually, college town there, football
Yeah.
town,
Shoot,
and
good.
they had a game on Saturday, but I wasn't able. I
Okay.
was a
I was
little
about to
busy.
say,
I couldn't
what if
get
Ohio
there.
State was in town? Would have been wild.
That would have been, yeah, that would have been ironic. But yeah, I went there a couple weeks ago, and honestly, I played great. My game felt awesome.
Fuck yeah.
About 80 guys, and I think roughly top 20 out of the 80 players that showed up would advance to the next stage. So just
Nice.
played just a solid first three rounds to where I was pretty well inside. I think it was in first or second going into the last round, and just kind of just coasted through round four. I finished fourth. So
Nice, man.
yeah, game felt good, and just kind of recover a little bit, and then
Yeah.
get back at it again for second stage, and just kind of chip away one stage at a time, and yeah, hopefully do some good things this fall.
Yeah, man. Dude, glad to hear. I forget who said it. I think it was in the receiver thing, but Debo Samuel, he was like that new perspective. Maybe it's the new dad energy. I don't know. You got it back, man. You're killing it. So I love it. Love to hear it. Do you know if you? I know last year it might have been last year, but if you're ever this year coming up, if you're doing an event again in Raleigh or in North
Mhm.
Carolina, let me
Mhm.
know. We're
Yeah,
gonna make it out to that one for sure.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
gotta cheat because I think it was I forget exactly what it was. It might have been during like either like our family golf tournament or something, but you were playing, I think at Raleigh Country Club, and I was
yeah.
like, "Fuck!" I was like, I literally left town like on Friday. Pardon my language. And my boys were like, "I'm thinking about going." I was like, "If you go, let me know." Obviously, you guys know Bo's gonna be there, so like let me know. But
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
back this year, let me know. I'll be there.
yeah. It's a good tournament there in Raleigh. I played it a few times, and one of my sponsors actually, Stitch Golf.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um, they're kind of headquartered out of that at Cary, North Carolina.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So
I know exactly.
it was fun. I got to play in the program with a bunch of those guys, and they're great guys. And
Yeah,
the company is really cool. They make some sweet golf bags and cool clothes and stuff. So, and
I had
Raleigh
no
Country
idea.
Club's are awesome course. It was tough. I played really hard.
I
So yeah, I enjoy that tournament.
Damn, man. Yeah, no, I had no idea one that Stitch was in Cary. like was headquartered out of there. No idea there,
Mhm.
so that's pretty dope. And then two, yeah, no, my buddy Mike has a Stitch bag, and it's so fresh. Obviously, I've seen your stuff, but like it's you can't go wrong with it, man. It's classy. So, dude, that's sick. Well, yeah, if you play in it again, or if there's even like I think there's some other courses nearby. For some reason, if you're playing nearby, let me know.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to. I'll definitely show up. Um, dude, that's so great to hear. I mean, is there anything else from like a golf perspective, maybe that, like, is there? You said you were, the swing's feeling good. Have you done anything different? Like, has there been like a change, or is it just, you just find your groove right now?
Um, maybe just a little bit of the, just been working at it, just been competing. I have some good coaches and trainers and instructors helping me out. Um, along the way, I put the time in with them. My little team is,
Yeah.
I've been staying on it. And, fortunately for me down here, nice thing about living in Jupiter, there's just so many top players in the world that live down here. So
Yeah.
I can go compete with those guys, on really any given day if I want to.
Hell yeah.
And, when it's like any, work venture, if you start, surrounding yourself with the best in the world and, you know, beating them every once in a while, your confidence can go up and, it's only going to make you better. So it's been nice to have that, right here in town. And I think that's helped me too. Just been playing with a lot of, top players in the world and just,
That's so
just
cool.
have a little money game out there and, go at it. So,
I'm itching. I don't want to. I'm not gonna make you name names, but like, are you able to share a story of like who's someone maybe you played recently with that you were like,
yeah.
I'd love to hear.
So, yeah, no, I played with, man, so one of the places I played on here, the Bears Club,
Yeah, yeah,
um, is there's got to be, I mean, probably 25 or 30 PGA Tour pros or a couple live players as well, that practice and play out there. So there's a lot of games if you want them.
yeah.
I've been playing with um, this kid Patrick Rogers. He plays on the PGA Tour, and he's been a good player for a long. He's
Yeah.
a really. I mean, he's been on tour for I don't. He was a stud at Stanford in college. He was player of the year, all that good stuff, and he got his tour card right away. And he's been a force out there for I don't even know probably 10 years now.
Hmm.
So what we did is we played 3 days in a row. And usually you just play like match play, like, hey man, like we'll play some kind of closeout where you just play a match play against
Hmm.
the guy, and whenever the match is up, you basically double the bet for the last whatever how many holes that could be.
Yeah.
Um, but we did say, hey, we're gonna do something different. Do 3 days, and we're just gonna play straight up stroke play.
Okay.
Just like you would in a tournament. So that was good because I mean it's a little different than match play is great. It's got its
Yeah.
advantages, but stroke play, you can't you have that bad hole. I mean it's you got to watch your back end a little bit too, and not
Yeah.
just in the match play. The worst thing that happens is lose the hole.
Right.
Stroke play,
Exactly.
if one guy makes double and the other guy makes birdie, then you just traded 3 shots right there. So
Exactly.
that was really good. And then he went. I think he was going to. I was heading to first stage, and he was heading to Mississippi for the tour event there, the PGA Tour event, the Sanderson Farms Championship.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a number. I've been playing with Camilo Viegas down
Yeah.
here. Um,
Fuck
you
yeah.
know, we go at it every once in a while out there, all in good fun. But
Right.
I played with him. He had his coach out there working with him while we play a little match, and yeah, man, so many good
Yeah.
players out there. So it's
Like you said, iron sharpens iron, man. Like
yeah,
it's
no
not.
doubt.
It's. I mean, why not take advantage of it? I think I would do the same thing if I was in that right. Like all these great golfers around me, might as well. And sometimes you gotta walk away with a little extra money in your pocket. Why not?
Yeah,
Do
yep.
you like
No,
do you like to bet when you golf, or like just in general? Is that
I gotta have something. If I don't have, I sometimes it's comfortable to just kind of just go play without anything on the
Sure.
line. Like for a second, you're like, ah, man, I can just kind of, I don't have to be as sharp today. But
Right.
then it's like after like a hole, I'm like, I gotta have something to focus me in because it's funny if I don't have something on the line, then I just start trying to really like be
Hmm.
too perfect with my game. Like I start focusing on
Get your mind
my
away.
form or my something my technique. But once I start having a game that can just okay, I just trying to make a 3 or 4 on this hole. Yeah, I don't care how it's done.
Hmm.
Whereas if I'm just playing by myself, I'm practicing. Where there's something that I can
Right.
gain from that too. But I'm like, then I'm just all, I feel like I'm all technique when I'm doing that. So it kind of gets me out of technique and gets me into that just game mode of competing and getting the ball in the hole.
Exactly. Do you ever find yourself being like, "Fuck, I'm like too competitive," or like not even too competitive, but you're just like, "Fuck, I'm down 3 holes. Like, I need to get this shit together. I'm down like a good bit of money." And it's like,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, you get out there and um you get you get down, and you're kind of adding up in your mind like, man, it's I always tell
it's a
people
slippery
it's kind
slope.
of it's playing pro golf is like it feels like a lot of times you're walking into a casino with your whatever you got, your $100,
Right.
and it's like then you got to choose as your mindset when you walk into that casino. You're like, man, I could turn this $100 into 10 grand tonight. Like
Right.
this is
Right.
gonna
Right.
be amazing. On the other hand, on the opposite side of that, it's like, man, what if I lose this $100? Am I gonna buy in another $100 and another? I mean, I could lose $1,000 tonight. So
Exactly.
it's like it's a little bit like that going to a pro golf tournament
Right.
or a round. It's like
That
you
makes
got
sense.
to you got to
Actually.
try to get yourself into that mindset of, man, look look what I could look what I could
Right.
win today.
Right.
What's the
Exactly.
best thing that could happen?
Right.
And then there's some days when you don't have it and you're fighting that urge to go the other way. It's like, man, what's the worst thing that could happen today? So
Right.
it is kind of similar to walking up to a blackjack table.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's funny because like I have a good bit of bets placed tonight just with some like basketball and like you said, like friend of mine, I've had him on the show. Shout out to Alex. His like he went to school for like some like I don't know Stanford math thing, something that they definitely didn't even offer at my college for sure. And so he like, which they probably do, but it's one of those things. Like he's just a super smart kid, and then he figured out how to transfer that over to like sports betting. So
Mm.
kid's been doing pretty well with it. And I was like, I had him on. I was like, there's like some truth to this. And sure enough, when following his picks, I can't get enough of it. It's just one of those things now where I was like, I did it back when I was in Virginia when they legalized it in North Carolina. And I was like, they're gonna give a shit ton of bonuses and stuff like that, man. It's gonna be great. And it's gonna be awesome. But I remember I was like, I asked my wife, I was like, would you want to open some sports books and get those things? And she was like, really? And I was like, no, I mean, if you want to. But it was just funny one of those because, it's fun. My dad loves doing it. Like now that he's retired, that's like his thing he gets into because he's a math guy. So, like
Yeah,
you said, it adds, when you're watching a game on Sunday, it adds a little extra fun to it. You're like,
for sure.
well, want them to, hit this field goal right here, cover that first
Yep,
half script would be nice.
no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, it makes those crazy moments a little more exciting.
I was never I was sweat like family was in town and watching like the LSU Ole Miss game, and which is still a good game, but I was like I needed Ole Miss to cover it. I'm like really stressing out my like stepfather. I was like, man, you really like this game? I was like, well, it's a little bit more fun when you got a little action on it, and like now I'm a little bit more invested. But no, it's all in good fun. But like you said, you got to set that limit, right? There's like I wouldn't go part a certain number. Like I know anything I put in there, I could lose and like it could go down. So it's a good balance of being realistic, but also like, hey, look, we could make a good bit of money today, so let's go get that money.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Nice, nice man. Well, kind of pivoting to that, I got two OSU questions for you. For those who don't remember, Bo's Ohio State from the great state, went to the Jack Nicklaus High School. Well, that's not what it's called, but the same one there. Big guy there. Ohio State. Go Buckeyes. What's going on in Buckeye land for football right now? I mean, where's your head at? What's going on? I mean, I think you guys are still competitors, obviously, but like, what's going on there, man?
Yeah, we got a good team on paper.
Right.
But a lot of new players, really good players, but they're new. This is their first year they played for Ohio State. We got a new quarterback, Will Howard,
Mm-hmm.
transfer from Kansas State, a proven quarterback. And then we picked up, on top of what we had, which was pretty good. We got this guy Quinshon Judkins is a running back from Ole
Yeah.
Miss, was an all SEC running back there, and then we got Caleb Downs, a safety from Alabama, who's
Mm-hmm.
he was I don't even know what, maybe even like SEC defensive some player of the year or something
Yeah.
along those lines last year. So three studs, but it's I would imagine. I mean, I'm not a football
Mhm.
player, but I imagine it's probably there's definitely a challenge to get all those guys on the same page with the whole new
Right.
team and school and philosophy and offense and defensive schemes. So I think they're kind of working their way through that. I mean, we've played pretty well this season. Oregon was
That
a
was a
good
really close.
game. They took
Yeah.
us right to the end. Kind of a weird finish.
Yeah.
But that sounded like that Oregon crowd was in it pretty good the whole game.
They showed up. They
So
had to.
they made it tough on us. They played a good game. So I'm looking at, kind of sucked that we lost, but I was like, if the worst thing that happens is you go to Oregon and you lose by 1 point, like your team's pretty good.
It's
If
not a bad team, right?
that's a bad day for you,
Right.
So,
Exactly.
so yeah, we'll see. We got some pretty good games coming up. We're gonna have to go to Penn State, play there. Um, we got Michigan a rivalry game. They're a little down this year, but
Mhm.
those rivalry games, you never know. So,
Exactly.
um,
I think
yeah,
y'all could beat Penn. I think you guys could beat Penn State. I think Penn
yeah,
State always is that team to me that like, and a lot of
yeah.
my Penn State friends will be pissed. Like, I feel like they're always so close to being good, but they just never win those big games.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's people ask me like a bunch of my friends, get frustrated with the Oregon game was
Yeah.
there's or we lost a close one to Georgia a couple of years ago in the Peach Bowl.
Yeah.
And you want to point your finger at the coach like, hey, Ryan Day, like
Hmm.
is he good enough? He lost to Michigan a few times, and it's like, can he not win those games? I'm like, yeah, I remember this guy's going like I don't even know what his career record is, but it's
Yeah.
something like 60 and 60, 70 and 9
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
So like you can go try to look and find something that's going to take you from 11 and 2 to
Hmm.
whatever 13 and 0 or 12 and 1. It's like on the other hand, I mean, you go do that. We've all seen this script play out where you try to find something in that regard, and all of a sudden you're going 6 and 6.
Hmm.
So I personally, I'm a Day fan. I'm happy with just
Yeah.
we've been every year we seem to be always in the top 10 in the rankings. I'm like, what else can you ask for? Like having the chances to do that, and but yeah, back to what made me think of it was James Franklin. I mean, he's kind of in that same. Penn
Yeah.
State's a little bit. They're in a situation where they he's having trouble winning big games. He's having trouble beating Ohio State, Michigan.
Right.
Um, but he's winning every other game. So again,
Exactly.
like you're losing 2 games a year, and they could go try to find a guy that can beat Ohio State or Michigan. But it's like you also could start going 6 and 6 if you do that. You never know what's going to
It's a
happen.
slippery slope.
But I will say the new top 12 playoff will help Penn State a lot. I mean,
I think so.
they've been the first 4 or 5 teams out for
Always.
5 years in a row. It feels like so.
Mhm.
They should be able to get a berth into that playoff. I think for the first time, believe it or
Yeah.
not. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to Ohio State Nebraska game this Saturday. So we're going up
Nice.
tomorrow, and yeah, we haven't been to a game the whole year, and just heading back up and
Nice.
doing the whole college football thing. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Is this Stella's been to a game before? Or is this her first game?
So she's still a little young to go to the games, but
It's loud. I got you.
we might. She likes the marching band, so we might try to
There
slide her
you
in there for a little rehearsal or something
go.
around campus to see the
Nice.
the instruments playing. So yeah, but I'm sure my mom will have have no problem hanging out with her during the game, watching it on TV. So
Right, exactly. Some quality,
yeah,
fun, granddaughter time. How can you pass
yeah,
that? It's a win-win
yeah,
for everybody. It's a win-win for everybody.
yeah.
I completely agree. No, yeah, you brought up a lot of good points. One, I think Oregon is a big. I mean, it's not a bad team. Dylan Gabriel's actually a really, really good quarterback. So like, it's not like you're going up against. They needed to make a statement, but like at the same time, it was a really close game. So like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
see that as like a bad loss. Like you said, I don't see it as a bad loss. You
Mm-hmm.
mentioned the playoff. I think that's gonna. it's gonna be exciting to watch all that. But I think y'all would have gotten in regardless of that, just because, like you said, I think y'all can beat Michigan. I think like I mean, who knows? Like anything can happen. But I like you said, it's a little bit of a down year. I think the Penn State game will be huge. That could be
Yeah.
Big Ten championship right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things where it's like I think you guys follow the piece, and we did look at it. I think he's 56-8. Ryan Day at his time
Something
there,
like
which
that. Yeah.
I'm so East Carolina. That's where I went to school, and
Mm-hmm.
they just fired Mike Houston, which I didn't like necessarily. I was a fan of his, but I get it. You want, like you said, you want winners. You got to think that his record, even though he won some really big games against, like on the road at BYU, 2 bowl game victories. Like I'll take that. I'm not expecting us to compete for a national championship, but I say like let's go to a bowl game. So when they fired him and he had like a 20, I think it was like a 28 and like 34 overall record.
Mm-hmm.
I think back to that being like, yeah, like we won some big games, but like that's an okay, like it's not the best record. I will gladly take 56-8 and being 11-2 every year and being like, all right, I know we're going to a bowl game, and maybe one year we'll get the right player or some match to like push us into that 12 spot for the G5 conference. Like I could see that happen, but it's one of those where I was like, I would rather have that consistency, knowing that each year I'm going to be competitive and like we're going to win. And yeah, we're doing the easy stuff, right? We're winning our conference. We're doing all that. We're trying to knock on the door and play these top teams and do so. Like I consistency is key for me there. I would rather have that. Yeah,
keeps the fans coming back and everybody's more interested in it and stuff. So
you took 3 kids from top tier programs, one being like the number 1 of the SEC, which people always argue is like a top defensive, like them in the Big Ten are like the top 2 like defensive conferences. Like that. Yes, I know NIL plays a point, but like the NIL difference between Ohio State and Alabama is literally like dollars and cents. Like they both have huge NIL, so like they're gonna get paid regardless. There, I feel like at that point you're looking at like a deeper like what can I perform here? What's gonna go on? So I feel like y'all are set up. So pivoting a little bit, keeping on Ohio State. I've seen you recently, especially past couple, following you on Instagram, things like that. Post like you have you been doing stuff with like OSU golf or like just been with those guys or like checking out the team there? Like what are they doing? How's their team looking? What's going on there?
Yeah, so I try to keep tabs on the OSU team. The head coach Jay Mosley there is a good friend of mine, and they've had some good squads. I mean, they had last year. I gotta get this right. So in college golf, about 30 teams roughly go to the NCAA championship finals.
Sure,
and then you play. Could be wrong on the number of rounds, but I believe it's 3 rounds of stroke play every team. Yeah. And then after that, the top 8 go from the 30 go to match play. So basically you just go to Elite 8. If you're in the Elite 8, then you go into match play and you just play head versus head, 1 versus 8.
Right.
So they made it to match play last year.
Okay.
And then they won their first match against Vanderbilt, who I think was either ranked number 1 or number 2 in the country. And then just took Auburn. Like Auburn was ranked 1. Both of those were 1 and 2. I think Auburn was 1, Vanderbilt 2. We beat Vanderbilt in the first match. Auburn in the second match basically took it as far as you could possibly go. Like it went to the last match, and then that match went to extra holes.
Couple of fighters.
Yes. So they lost the match, but I was proud of those guys for finishing,
seriously
top 4 in the country. Is pretty cool.
Yeah,
they've had some good young players coming through there. So they've I gotta think they always have they go to some sweet places. I mean, I'm like, you guys go to better places than PGA Tour goes. So I can't remember where they're going next, but they've always got some sweet place cooked up.
Nice.
So yeah, good. And when I'm in Ohio, I'll go practice out there at the Ohio State golf club, and again, I'll go play with the guys like in the summertime if they're around. A little bit of competition there in town, and try to keep up with them, and they're doing well.
Awesome, dude. No, and I saw that because I was like I love that stuff. So like I always love also like shine a little light on other programs of college sports, especially like you said, like kind of like we were talking about at the beginning, these guys are going toe to toe competing with the, iron sharpened iron, beating these guys that are, 1 and 2 in the country. And, hats off to them. Hope they hope this year coming up, it's another good year. And yeah, man, glad to kind of catch in there. Wanted to check up. So one other thing I was curious about, I hit you up. I literally I must have been like the next week there or something like that. You were like, I just missed you guys at Creighton Farms when you guys were doing the charity tournament.
Yeah.
What was that charity tournament you guys were doing?
So that is for Jack Nicklaus's charity. He and his wife Barbara, for a number of years, have kind of really made a gigantic effort to give back to children's healthcare.
Oh yeah.
And it's just amazing what they can raise and build. And hats off to Jack for having the energy to do that. I mean, he's in his 80s now. Obviously, played a ton, traveled the world. It'd be really easy just to kind of hang your hat and just sit back and kind of lay low. But man, he's just traveling all over the country trying to raise money for these kids and grow the game of golf. And he stays busy with it. But the event at Creighton Farms was for the Nicklaus Children's Healthcare Foundation. And I can't remember the exact number, but raising like over $1 million in one day of golf, a dinner and a golf. Golf.
Jeez, man.
And these folks in the DC area are kind enough to give their time and donations, and and then that money just goes to such a good cause. I got the Nicklaus the hospital down in Miami that they've opened, and that's part of the healthcare system that my wife works for. So it's pretty impressive what they can do through golf, and a bunch of PGA Tour players there.
Nice,
playing with guys at a cool place, and it was a fun dinner and fun day of golf.
Yeah, man. I've had the luxury, I will say, to play there once for my brother-in-law's like pre-wedding golf thing. And great course, love it there. It's when you play on that course, there's all these giant houses in the way, and I always think when a banana one right into the fucking window and be like, great, that's like probably a $200,000 window. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I know it's Nicklaus course. I'm sure, but there's a ton of them. Do you know why he picked that one in particular? Like why Creighton Farms?
I don't know. That was the first year I played in it.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure why obviously a super nice private club. I think that helps draw the players to go play in it. I'm going to go on top of playing in this thing. I get to play a sweet course, and maybe DC easy to get to for people from around the country if they're coming in from other places. And but yeah, really, really cool place.
Yeah. Oh man, dude. Yeah. I was just so curious because I was like, my sister just moved like right down the road from there. So when I saw that, I was like, oh damn! Like I literally was just like right there. Literally twice now I've thought about it. I've just been like moments away from you, and we're gonna connect on this last one. But yeah, dude, I wanted to ask because I was like so curious why Creighton Farms. It just seemed like, I think because growing up there, right? Like I know what Creighton Farms is, but like just like because like I've luckily played there once, but like just growing up there, when I saw he was hosting something there, I was like, that's crazy. Like and then I was digging up some research. I was like, oh, he kind of helped design that course, did the whole thing. Like you said, that makes sense. But I had to ask because I was like, what are the odds? Like out of all the courses, I'm sure there was, could pick from, like you said, he's got stuff in like Miami or things like that. A ton of golfers there. I was very intrigued. But oh man, okay, that's cool enough. Awesome. Well, kind of moving on from there, kind of my pivot. As we're kind of wrapping up here, and again, we're gonna definitely open up some Q&A and stuff. But I was curious, I was looking back at some of the old interviews I did, and I don't know if I asked you this, and I'm curious, but like definitely someone next. I'm always trying to figure out who should I interview, and after doing some of these, and after talking to a lot of different people, I forgot that like that's what I usually really ask people, and it's a great way just to kind of find segues into new things. So like, who's definitely someone you think would be really cool to interview, understand more of like whether it's golf, whatever their background is. Who knows? It could be literally anthropology. I don't care whatever it is, but like would love to know like who you think someone would be really not only cool but like fun to learn from and someone to talk to and interview.
Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly in the golf thing, so
That's fine.
I actually like to hear other athletes' perspectives on how they
Okay.
do their thing. But yeah, I've gotten to be pretty good friends with a pitcher from he played for the Cubs and a lot of teams. Steve Cishek, he lives in Jupiter,
No way.
and so I've watched him actually play. Yeah, we just kind of crossed paths whether I'm playing tour event in the town that he's pitching in,
Yeah.
or this or that, and I've got to see him play like 3 times. And so it's I like hearing from him just how he's done it. He's retired now. He had a
Right.
real successful pitching career as a closer,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of just refreshing to hear. We'll just shoot the breeze a little bit about hey
Yeah.
man, like on your really good days versus your just okay days, what feels different for you, and or if you're not feeling it if you're having a bad day one day, how do you get yourself out of the
Yeah.
that out get the job done. So it's interesting to hear different sports perspectives, which I like to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll have to think about that with the golfers. I mean, there'd be a ton of good
Exactly.
ones. I definitely yeah, we gotta get some of my colleagues on here. I think they'd be probably pretty
Would love
good.
it.
So yeah, we'll do
Love
that.
it. We'll chop it up for sure. We'll easily have to get into that. No problem. No problem at all. That's awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate answering that. And then number two, have I asked you how many fifth graders you can beat up?
How many fifth graders I can beat up? I think you did.
I want to make sure because I interviewed. He was Georgia Tech's basketball coach at the time,
I
but now he's
remember
like an
this now.
ESPN. His name's Josh Pastner. He coached Derrick Rose at Memphis.
Uh-huh.
I didn't ask him the question because we were talking. I hope I can say this, but fuck it. Either way, his AD right before we got on was like, "Hey, don't ask him this question." It wasn't the fifth grader, but don't ask him this question because X, Y, and Z. I don't want it. I was like, fine. So in my head, I was like, shit, I have like a bunch of other questions here that he didn't bring up, but like I want to ask that I'm like wondering. So I didn't get to ask him, and I'm regretted it ever since. And so I'm like making sure I've asked all these people. But it's funny. I was talking to this hockey player who's like 6'5", used to play for the Washington Capitals, like big dude, and he came on and he told me it was like his number was like 7 or 8, and I was like, okay, like I respect that. Like 7 or 8 people, that's
Yeah.
for you to say that as a defenseman for the NHL, like that's pretty impressive. And
Yeah.
then I talked to this Formula racer who is his name's Shahan. And I was like, dude, how many people do you think? He was like, easily like 25 or 50. And I was like, this is fucking wild to me, like people's perspective. So I forget, what was your number? Do you know roughly in
I
your head?
can't even remember.
What do you think right now in your current state? You're playing really nice right now.
Yeah. Well, that actually would probably hurt me. It was like because I'd be like a little like I wouldn't want to injure myself.
Right. Oh, dude, I lost you.
Oh, you're there.
I can't hear you. Now you're back. Now you're back.
Sometimes like I'm a little like if I'm at a tournament and I'm playing well, like or like if there's we're going to dinner at some place in the chair, like so like I don't know if I can sit in that thing for 2 hours. I'm back tomorrow when I'm playing. So
right, exactly. So you'd be apprehensive. You'd be like, you might like. I asked, like, I've heard an answer before. He was like, in that scene where they walk away, I'm gonna go the other path. And I was like, well, way to keep it in the movie, but like I appreciate it. So like on a good day, you're like, hey, I'll walk away because I gotta play tomorrow.
Maybe a handful, something like that.
That's respectable. I can say that. I'll give you the club too. I'll give you the perspective of a club. Why not? It's
funny you asked that because we have been having this running kind of hole that I actually came up with on pro golf, and I'll be with another player somewhere like, all right, just give me this scenario.
Okay.
Let's just say you're having a big night somewhere, you're at a bar and you've had a little too much to drink, and you walk out of there and these guys are ready to beat you up, steal your money.
Right.
Get to pick 2 PGA Tour players to come around the corner and come save you.
Oh man,
So it's been funny to hear the answers on that one.
that is a great question.
Golf. I mean, it's not like you got lineman or nose tackle or something.
Right. Exactly.
So it's such a like interesting array of like physical.
Who would you pick?
So I'm going this guy Ricky Barnes. He's played on tour for a long time, and I think his dad played for the Patriots. He's just a horse of a guy. He's like 6'3", and he's just in the gym all the time, and he's got to weigh 215. And he's built like he looks like he'd be pretty fast and
Dude, I'm seeing this picture. He's built. This dude's ripped.
Yeah, he'd be. I like the football stuff. You guys got the Patriots thing going.
Yeah. Damn.
But man, I had like I should have thought about this, but I had like 5 guys I've been running through, but it'd be probably pretty tough. Like John Rahm coming off of a double on a par 5, like with the steam blowing out of his ears. I mean, he'd be the aggression factor. So
I was about to say, yeah,
those 2 guys would be pretty strong. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? You got anybody coming to mind?
So
besides me,
you're my first call for sure. An upset Bo Hoag coming around the corner. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that, man. I dialed in. Are you kidding me? Oh, I watch out. But so I kind of want to say like, you saw like when Rory at the end of the Ryder Cup, got a little heated, right? Got a little, and you like to see that energy. You want to think that would transpire there, why people would pick him. But I'm gonna go with, I really think because he went to Florida. This could be, completely stereotypical. I'm sorry. I feel like if you really needed him to, he seems like the kind of guy that if you were like, hey, like I need you to throw down for a minute, I think Brooks Koepka would, be willing to throw hands. Maybe he also looks pretty well built. I think he's been scrappy. I think he gives off a scrappy kind of vibe. We can get, he'll get the job done in a fight. So like I think I would pick Brooks definitely on 1, and then 2. Let's take it on the flip side of that. A guy who seems this could be like a sneaky pick. I don't know. Most people see him probably as like ho hum, quiet, but like I feel like he could do it. Would be Keegan Bradley maybe. Guys, I almost did Tony Finau, but I was like, he seems like he would kind of be chilled out. He's definitely an honorable mention, but I think if I got Brooks, I want to say Shane Lowry too. This is tough because you could do Shane Lowry, spicy, get a little fire in him, it could be good. But there's a lot of good choices. But yeah, I think I'm going with I might replace Keegan with Shane Lowry. I'm going to do Shane Lowry.
Experience.
I'm at right. Same kind of logic, just across the pond.
Irish pubs, getting some late nights and those things. So.
Right. Over nothing, I'm sure. Over some soccer or something like that. Like I imagine he's ready to go. So those would be my 2 picks for sure. Yeah. I like that question a lot, Bo.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to float that by my brother-in-law. That's a really good one, and I like that. Damn, I really do. Last thing, anything else I can think of before I let you go? Again, thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy. I really think that's all I got, man. It's been fun talking to you. I really appreciate you joining. Before I let you go, is there anything you had left you want to chop in or jump in there? If not, no pressure. Just
really on the flip side, if you want to have fun with that last question with the 2 guys helping you, you could go, who are the last 2 guys?
That's a tougher answer. I'm not going to say that yet because I still would like to have potential people on. So.
I'm that too because the minute I say I'll probably get paired with them, like
exactly
play with, and but that is kind of funny to think about that one too. There's a lot more of those candidates off than there are the big tough guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think if you had some guys that you could bust their chops and do it with, I think it'd be a lot of fun. You could easily have some good time with that. I'll keep that to where like if I'm playing with the foursome, I'll be like, who in this foursome right now would you pick? And tell me why. And you just fuck with them.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it. Well, dude, thank you so much for joining, man. I appreciate you coming on during busy time. Tell your family we say, hey, it was good seeing you, brother. And we'll be. I got family who went to Ohio State, so like I got a little bit of loyalty there. I hope OSU does well this year, but it's good catching up, brother. We're gonna have to do it again, and either if I'm for some reason down there and you're playing, I'll see you. But if you're up here, if you come back up here for the North Carolina Raleigh tournament again, or even in Cary, I'll be there.
Cool. Well, yeah, our best to you guys as well, and the
Yeah,
daughter and wife and everybody. And thanks for having me on.
of course, brother. Hey, no problem. And dude, again, thank you all for joining. We'll head out to the outro, but Bo, really appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks, Joe.
No problem.